Yeah, let's turn it around. So we'll call this meeting to order. Today is Wednesday. Boy, September 9th, 2025. This is the regular quarterly meeting of the Board of Agriculture of the state of Nevada. And our first item is the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And we'll have a moment of silent reflection. And we'll move on to virtual attendees. Do we have any?
I will give some direction to virtual attendees. If you are joining us online and your name is not reflected in the participant list, please state your first and last name and organization when you are called on, as well as the first and last name of anyone who may be attending the meeting with you. All attendees joining the meeting online via Microsoft Teams have been muted upon entry. Please keep your microphone on mute and use the raise hand feature until you are called upon to speak. Again, to raise or lower your hand, click on the raise hand icon and you will be called upon in order. Once called upon, locate the microphone icon in the meeting controls and toggle your microphone to unmute yourself. If you are joining us by phone, please press *5 to raise your hand if you have a question or comment and *6 to unmute yourself when called upon.
Thank you.
Sure, you have Mr. Combs has his hand up, I believe. I don't know if Hank has a problem or a question.
Okay, Hank, are you hearing us?
No, I was told to raise my hand, so I raised it, and Hank Combs here by myself, Las Vegas, represent General Ag.
Okay, thank you. We will continue with roll call. Tom Baker.
Present.
Yes, and you're representing?
NDA board, semi-range cattle production, and I'm just on the remote location.
Okay, thank you. Las Vegas. You need to unmute.
I can't hear you, Brooke.
That's white. Okay, see, it'll be muted, it'll be red, and if the white means it's good to go. It's right above your.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
We hear you.
Now you're off.
Oh.
You're off again, Brooke.
You guys, so sorry.
There you
Can
go.
hear them? Okay, great. Brooke Neubauer, Clark County, in Las Vegas, representing Supplemental Nutrition.
Thank you. Now, in Sparks, who do we have? Starting on my left, which side of the room is that?
Looks like Sierra.
Sierra Russell, Public Information Officer for the Nevada Department of Agriculture. Blaine Merkley, Industry and Global Trade Representative or Coordinator for the Nevada Department of Agriculture.
Monica Barbosa, Administrative Assistant to the Deputy Director for the Nevada Department of Agriculture.
Mackenzie Campbell, NDA Board Member representing petroleum.
David Ruff, board member representing nurseries.
Doug Busselman.
Yeah, Doug Busselman, Nevada Farm Bureau.
Alex Stanchek with Silver State Government Relations.
And
Mr. DeChambeau.
behind you,
I'm hiding. Keeps me from getting in trouble.
okay. Yeah, that's Jim DeChambeau in Sparks. Okay, back here in the, oh, Richard.
We have two more. If you'd like them to state their name, you can go ahead.
I'm Eugene Lee with FL Pest Control.
I'm sorry, who was that?
Eugene Lee with FL Pest Control.
Okay. There are others in Sparks?
That's all of us. Thank you.
Okay, Richard? We're not hearing you,
Can't hear
Richard.
you, Richard.
We're not hearing you.
Still nothing.
Well, we know who you are. Okay.
You can hear us? Okay. So start throwing things at your camera if we do wrong, okay? Hold up a sign, stop.
You're going to jail. Okay, we'll, is that everybody remote?
No, we've got
Oh, the,
Dr. Strajewski's on remotely.
okay. Dr. Strajewski, are you hearing us?
Good morning, everyone. Yes, I can hear you fine. How is my fidelity?
We're good.
Sounds good.
Right on. Thank you.
Hank, he's already said he's on, and I don't see Craig yet.
Okay. Now we'll do Elko. Starting on the left over here.
It's you, Bobby.
Bob Rager, I'm representing the Nevada Department of Agriculture and the new shiny new Deputy Administrator for Animal Industry.
Chad Sustanovich, Administrator, Animal Industries.
Kathy Balkin, Administrator, Administrative Services. Juliana Hendricks, Executive Assistant.
Doug Ferris, Deputy Director for the Department of Agriculture.
JJ Goicoechea, Director.
I'm Jim Snyder from Lyon County representing row crops.
Pete Paris, Elko County Semi-Renting Operator.
Debbie Gilmore representing specialty crops.
Marlon Higby, Lincoln County Semi-Cattle Production, Semi-Range Cattle Production.
Heather Lockheed, Douglas County, representing Pest Control.
Patricia Hoppy, Administrator, Division of Food and Nutrition.
Ray Saliga, Deputy Administrator, Division of Plant Health and Products.
Okay, thank you all. We covered roll call.
Craig's on now. Director as well.
Okay, Craig, do you want to introduce yourself?
Can't hear you, Doc.
We're not hearing you.
Craig Shank, veterinarian, and poor with technology.
Probably safer than the rest of us the last 2 weeks.
Very good, thank you. Okay, Dr. Bill, you're
My apologies. I didn't properly introduce myself. Bill Strajewski, Administrator for Measurement Standards.
Okay, thank you. That everybody? Okay, we'll move on to public comment. Do we have public comment? I have Jim DeChambeau listed here. Jim, do you have something for us?
Oh, wait.
Okay. On to the minutes.
Wait, I think Alex, you have a comment, Alex? It looks like he was gonna move.
Yeah, do I go up to the table or just?
Got the seat selected.
Oh, great. Super. Good morning, Alex Tanchek, Senior Associate at Silver State Government Relations. We want to extend our appreciation to the Department of Agriculture for taking on new responsibilities regarding hemp through SB 466. There is an interest from a number of parties in the state to see a framework around hemp and hemp-derived products be adopted in a clear way that references the Farm Bill where appropriate, while also allowing businesses to continue to develop hemp-derived products like beverages with a clear testing requirement and compliance guidelines that meet Farm Bill standards. We look forward to working with the department as they contemplate these new regulations around hemp and hemp-derived products. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Other public comment?
I'm from Sparks.
Okay. I am seeing none. We'll move on to approval of the minutes of the March 19th meeting. Is that correct? March 4th.
You might be looking at your minutes.
Looking at the minutes.
Yeah. Back here.
Okay, thank you. June 4th meeting, a possible action. I'll entertain a motion when you're ready. Move to approve.
I'll second that.
Any comments or corrections? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Approved?
Aye.
Minutes are approved. Board member updates. Again, we can start in Las Vegas. Brooke, do you have anything for us?
Yes, hello, everybody. Sorry to miss you guys there. So we did, we at the Just One Project survey, a lot of the participants that participate in our mobile distributions for TFAP. So I love reporting some of the takeaways that we learned. We talked to 1,066 participants utilizing TFAP in August. And 90% reported a dependency on this food to maintain having food security. That's the second time we've asked that question during a survey, and we've the number keeps being 90%. So we're going to follow that this year and just kind of see what that comes out to later in the year. 86% reported that when they miss the opportunity to get served from a TFAP distribution anywhere through any partner, they have to end up choosing between food and utilities and medication, things like that. Asking these questions, I feel like, is really important because while it's a supplemental food program, it really shares with us that it's becoming more like an essential food program. I think that SNAP benefits and commodity food programs are really just a major thread in our food system for our neighbors that are living around and below the poverty line. During COVID and through trade mitigations, we had such an influx in TFAP food, and now it's continuing to stabilize and normalize. And so organizations across the valley are still getting used to figuring out other options and just kind of trying to distribute the TFAP food that is coming into the state. And there are over 125 partners, just like the Just One Project, all across our Southern Nevada Valley. distributing this food, which is great. And then just a unique fact, Nevada ranks fourth highest grocery prices in the US. And I think that that plays a big part of why so many Southern Nevada residents are dependent upon these TFAP and CSFP SNW programs. Thank you.
Thank you. Tom?
Tom Baker, I believe in my last report, I reported that it was dry out here and the cattle market was good. And I think that this meeting, I can report that it's really dry out here now and the cattle market is really good. We're worrying, the deserts look tough. A lot of the ranges look tough around here. People are trying to figure out what to do for feed and how they can stock. The feeder hay market has gotten good in this part of the state and on into Utah because people are thinking they're going to have to feed more this winter. But that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Let's see. Back to Sparks. We have board member updates and Sparks.
Yeah, so I'll begin. Mackenzie Campbell, representing Petroleum. Last quarter, Petroleum has been well. We would like to extend our appreciation again to NDA on approval of AB 29, which standardizes the posting of diesel at the C-store locations and unleaded as well. Next week, the Petroleum Board Energy and Convenience Association of Nevada is hitting the road to visit some members and non-members to answer any questions about AB 29. We will also be here in Sparks visiting with measurement standards just to show our board members and any non-members who attend our board meeting what NDA does for us. So we'd like to thank you guys for hosting us next week. Thank you for our hard work and appreciate everything you do.
Hey, thank you. Is that David Ruff?
It is David Ruff, nursery stock. Right now, everything in the nursery industry seems to be looking fairly well as far as I can tell. I've got no calls. But one of the things that has come to my attention here in the report is that in plant health and compliance, the new weed that has recently been found in Washoe County here, which is then Tenata here, and it's potential to displace cheatgrass and saturate rangelands, reducing feed stock potential by up to 50%. That's what the report says. So it's a non-native and now classified as type A weed. And so just want to look and see how that can go and be help strangled here in the area before it gets out and becomes a problem just not for feed industry or the state itself as far as fire, but for the homeowners and the plant industry nursery here, if it's as aggressive in the state that it's indicated as in the report.
Okay, thank you. Is that on our radar?
Yeah, so David, I'll have, when Ray gives his update for the plant division, he'll touch on that. We do have a plan in place and that is moving forward, but I'll let Ray touch on that during his update, sir. Great.
Okay, do we have anyone else in Sparks? Any other board members?
That's everyone.
Okay, thank you. And then, so Hank, do you have anything?
Yeah, good morning. Not a lot, just, we're glad the legislature's over and got work on all of the legislation that got through. So other than that, enjoying the weather cooling down. So.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. We got everyone remote.
Dr. Shank.
Okay, excuse me, Dr. Shank, do you have any updates for us?
I do. I guess if I kind of represent Churchill County as well as veterinarians, we're right in the middle of harvesting corn. Most of third crop is up, so we've been blessed to have plenty of water because of storage. So hopefully we just continue to pray for a wet winter. About a month ago, I had the opportunity to pay a visit to Utah State University, and I met with the dean and associate dean of the college there, and was able to talk with them. They've accepted 2 veterinary students. The original contract, I guess, was 7 students, but Dr. Rude was saying that they were late in getting some of their applications out. So some of the students that would have normally applied had already accepted positions at other schools, but they did accept 2 students. That this is the inaugural class. So they are there in Logan now, starting the program. They hope that, this next year should be better, so they should be able to have 7 students that will be from Nevada that will be in their program. Another college in Las Vegas, Roseman College, is petitioned and talked with the American Veterinary Medical Association and the Committee on Education to get approval for a veterinary school that will be there. Roseman College also has a campus in Utah. It's I believe it's a private university that in most of the health sciences. So they're not sure what the target date for opening up the school and getting that going. But of course, that depends upon approval from the American Veterinary Medical Association. There's been quite a lot of press lately about the shortage of rural veterinarians, and I brought this up, I think, in the last couple of meetings, and we're always hoping for more ag background students to apply and hopefully get accepted into these veterinary programs. Over the past 10 years, there's been a 15% decline in veterinarians and or large animal veterinarians, and it's brought enough attention to those in our upper government that they're doing something. The Ag Secretary Rollins just announced a program called the Veterinary Shortage Action Plan, and they're making funding more available for students that are going to go into rural practice to get a little bit of relief from their student loans. There's been programs that have been out there, but they're expanding this or putting more money into this program. Most students are getting out of school well above $200,000 in debt, and it's more palatable to accept positions in small animal practices where those loans can be paid off quicker. And once they get settled there, they don't want to go out and slosh through the manure and have to get up early in the morning to do things like we all have to do. So hopefully some of these relief programs will help these students that have been active in 4-H and FFA and have always wanted to be a veterinarian can do fulfill their wishes. I did have a question for you, JJ. I attended the Nevada Veterinary Medical Association board meeting last month, and they had mentioned that the Board of Agriculture helps identify these areas that qualify as vet deficient. Are you part of that, or can you enlighten us on that a little bit?
Yeah, so Director Zekachia for the records. So there is a program, veterinary shortage nomination program, and Dr. Rolfe and I actually met, what day was that, gang? Thursday? Wednesday, Thursday of last week, Friday, I don't know. And yeah, we do nominate regions or counties in the state. We have been doing that regularly. Dr. Shank, what that is, so we nominate an area, and you can nominate certain species. So we obviously heavily go towards beef, sheep, pork, because again, we're trying to go rural and food production in those. And then those are sent up to the USDA, and then it's up to the USDA if they accept those as a veterinary shortage area. And then if they do, then we open those and we try to get new veterinarians to move into those areas. I can tell you that we have had one very successful one in recent years in Ely. Clinton Henroyd actually did receive one of those from the USDA for White Pine County. And he has a fairly large practice established there now, multiple veterinarians, and is doing quite well. When we met last week, we are proposing 2 for the upcoming year. And again, those will go to the USDA and we'll see if those get accepted.
Could you let us know what those areas were that you discussed, or is that on the QT?
No, we can definitely do that. So the 2 that we went with, and again, we fully anticipate these to go beyond those counties, but 2 counties that we know we are extremely deficient in are Lincoln and Lander. So those are the 2 counties that we went with right now, fully anticipating that anyone in Lander would, Eureka, Humboldt, Elko counties, and then Lincoln County would cover parts of Nye and even parts of Northern Clark was our hope. But those are the 2 counties that we are putting forward for next year.
Now, do those veterinarians have to reside in those counties? Because we were fortunate to hire a new graduate and just started last week. If we cover Lander County, and so if these veterinarians live in Churchill County but service these areas for a certain number of hours or whatever, would they qualify?
Yes, Dr. Shank, they would. And so as that application process opens up, Dr. Rolfe will be sure and share that. And those veterinarians can, if you cover that county, then those veterinarians can in fact apply for that veterinary loan repayment program through that. Once those areas are accepted, then we send that notification out that these areas in Nevada are underserved and the application process is open. And again, that will go through the USDA. So we don't select those that are eventually awarded that repayment program. USDA does, but we do the notification of once it's open.
Okay, thank you for clarifying that.
Yes, sir.
And one last thing, I'm just looking at my notes here to make sure anything. And I'm sure that a lot of the board members may be aware that Keith Forbes just recently retired, and is someone in the works to replace him, or too early to tell, or is that information that's can be shared?
Yeah, that'll be part of Administrator Sostinovich's update, but yes, there is something in the works.
Okay, great. Thank you. I guess maybe the last issue is the emergence of New World screwworm, and I think Dr. Rolfe may be talking about that, but I think that's something to really be concerned about, and hopefully producers are getting online or whatever and educating yourself on this. There was a human case that actually was diagnosed here a couple of weeks ago and was reported by the CDC. So it can travel into this country in a lot of different means. So something we really need to be concerned about and get educated. That's it for me. Thank you.
I don't know if Chad, if you wanted to touch on that, I can touch on New World screwworm. I'll just do it as part of my director's update.
All right.
If that works, sir.
Okay, you bet. Thank you. Okay, that take care of all the remote. Okay, Heather, would you like to?
Good morning, Heather Lackman here representing Pest Control for Douglas County. So I don't have a whole lot in the way of an update today. It's been very, very quiet. I have not heard from anyone recently. No questions, really, no concerns, which is generally a good thing. I cannot complain about the weather. It has been really quite a busy quarter, just tending to people's problems, issues, dealing with their pest issues and trying to keep them safe at the same time, because this time of year, everyone's cleaning their sheds and their workshops, and we know that hantavirus is always an issue, so we're just still beating that drum and trying to keep people safe throughout the season. And it's tiresome, but I'm glad to be doing it, glad to be here, and that's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Marlon?
Similar range in Beaver County. Anyway, we got some storm. I don't know if it's enough or if it's early enough that we can grow some feed before we turn out in the end of September, October. Those that are on year round are allotments are struggling with some of their areas. Those that have gotten rain, it'll be growing feed probably into November and December before it gets a hard enough freeze where it's even on the south slopes, it'll grow all winter. Southern Nevada, so we're looking pretty good shape, but it looks like some outfits are gonna have to buy hay because their winter ranges look really rough. Where they have to run on the flats where it's all white sage and grass, they're in trouble. If you got some higher elevations where there's grouse and different things, they're gonna do okay.
Okay, thank you. Debbie.
Debbie Gilmore, representing specialty crops. Well, first of all, USDA is, Secretary Rollins is in the process of reorganizing a lot of things, right? So one of the targets is the Beltsville, Maryland USDA lab, and they are proposing to shut that down. And it is huge for research purposes for bees, for the apiculture. So there is a national movement out there, I guess, to try to keep that intact, at least on the side of things. Harvest season is here for hobby beekeepers. Everybody's reporting much more honey this year than last year, and honey prices this year are pretty skyrocketed. On the West Coast, honey prices are higher than they are anywhere else in the country, which is good for hobby beekeepers. One thing that is happening in October is there's a national program. It's called Hives for Heroes. And that program connects veterans and first responders with beekeepers. And it's in all 50 states. It's in Australia. It's in Finland. It's going pretty national right now. Nevada is hosting a Hives for Heroes program in Yerington in October. So we have invited all of the Hives for Heroes people, the veterans plus beekeepers to join together for a day in Yerington. The problem with Nevada is there are many people in the southern area who would like to become beekeepers. There are no beekeepers that are willing to come forth to help these people get started. So one of the purposes of this gathering in October is trying to make those connections and those people who don't have the ability to get going in Vegas to help them get going. So we're looking forward to that day, and maybe we can get more participation from the southern area. There is an agritourism event this coming Saturday that's being put on by UNR, Cooperative Extension. That is huge for our specialty crops, our lavender producers and all of that. So I think that's really good to bring everybody together. Dr. Schenk was talking about veterinarians, and there are some antibiotics that beekeepers need to fight. It's called American foul brood. And there are actually some universities that have put vet classes on beekeeping and bees, and their projects are in their curriculum. So we appreciate that as well. This is just kind of a side thing as I was traveling through Nevada yesterday and all of the new solar fields out there. My question was, what is the effect on on agriculture with all of these new solar fields. And I know that there are some planned in Lyon County. And so it's like, well, how can I advocate for agriculture if I don't really know what the effect, or maybe there's a benefit. I don't know. Anyway, that's all I have.
Debbie, what are the times and place of the agritourism?
It's at Adeline Farms and it's put on by Cooperative Extension. And I think they're asking for like a $25 fee, lunch included. And it's Saturday, the 13th.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Pete Paris, sheep range sheep representative. The price of lamb has come up some. Nothing compared to what the beef prices are doing. For example, a 100-pound lamb and a 450-pound calf have usually been about the same price range. Well, right now the lamb price has come up to $2. Everybody knows a 450-pound calf is $5.50 or some crazy thing. It's nice. We're happy with that, but with the price of what's going on in the commodities, the price of fuel, the price of everything, it's barely keeping these sheep people above board. And then the drought is not helping. I know the drought last winter made lamb percentage crop was way down. This summer, I'm presuming that the lamb weights are going to be down. Now going into winter, just for an example of how bad that drought is, sheep usually fare in the drought better than the Kelpie will do because they live on the sagebrush and the black sage and stuff. The black sage has zero nutrition value in it right now. So most sheep operators are probably going to have to either go to alfalfas or feed hay. It's a tough time right now. We've got lawsuits still, these advocates, people that look for making money on, they go out and hunt up sheep herders and talk them into filing lawsuits, into claiming they're working them 24 hours a day and they're not being fed, they're not being treated well to go to hospitals, you name it, what they can't scrape up, they're facing. I know some people are in the $200,000 lawsuit range for some of the lawsuits have been thrown out just to find another judge that will bring it back in. And it's just been a snowball effect. I mean, it's really tough. And there is not that many range sheep operations left, not just Nevada, but the West. And it's everywhere. It's not just the state of Nevada. But it's a tough time right now in the sheep industry. But, what the solution is going to be, but that's where they're sitting. So that's all I know.
Okay, thank you. So in the western part of the state or Lyon County, third crop is mostly done, 75 or 80%, I think. We're soon moving into corn harvest. The summer vegetable harvest continues. Big start on carrot harvest, middle of onion harvest, garlic harvest is complete, so things are moving on. We've had more or less adequate irrigation water in our district. 64% on storage, so that's survivable. However, as in most areas, while the livestock sector is doing well, the crop sector is suffering and probably will continue to suffer, would appear. I can assure you, livestock people, hay is available. So that's a bright side.
You look at me. I do need to buy steak.
Anyway, I think that's about it for my report. Thank you. are we? Director's report?
I thank you, Mr. Chairman, Director Goycochea, for the record. As they have done over the last nearly 3 years, you guys have a written copy. I'm not going to read it verbatim for you. If there's questions, by all means, jump in. I always like going after the members because it allows me to talk about things that you guys bring up that we didn't capture in here. I'll just start with high path avian influenza. We're in a lull right now, obviously, but we have seen some detections in our northern states as we see the migration of waterfowl start from Canada south. So we cannot let our guard down. See Dr. Shank, you know what I'm talking about, biosecurity, biosecurity, biosecurity. We still don't know if our D11 is going to give us the immunity to B313. So as a reminder, D11 was the novel strain that we were lucky enough to find in Churchill County first. But as we see this migration of waterfowl south, we have not challenged those dairy cattle with the traditional variant, if you will, B313. So we're watching to make sure we do see some cross immunity there. We continue to work with all of our partners. Dr. Rolfe is doing an outstanding job on that coordination and on working with that. And he is also working with one operation that remains under quarantine with B313. We're trying to figure out exactly how that virus may be living there or spreading to naive cattle within that herd. Unfortunately, he's on leave this week, but if you have any questions regarding that, we will provide an update at the December meeting on that. It's just really early in the data we're collecting there on what those cattle look like and what the antibodies look like. We did speak, both Dr. Rolfe and myself, at a biosecurity workshop here in Elko. Again, that's just going to be key moving forward. While it was centered around foot and mouth, obviously it's very timely with high path. It's very timely with New World screwworm. So we want to make sure everybody is paying attention to that. Other big news, obviously, AB 333, when we got the state fairgrounds back in Washoe County, Juliana and Sierra are doing a wonderful job kind of spearheading a group here internally as we look to relaunch that Nevada State Fair. That will be next June on the Nevada State Fairgrounds. The Nevada Junior Livestock Show Board has moved its show and sale dates to coincide with that. So that had always been, not always, it went to Mother's Day years ago. And they've been trying to move that somewhere else to get off of Mother's Day, some of those. So they did move it into June. So that show and sale will be June 10th through the 14th. And that will kind of wrap up the Nevada State Fair week. And then we'll roll right into the Reno Rodeo the week behind that. So June will be Ag Month in Nevada. And we're really excited about that. We've always got Silver State Stampede here, that same time period. In Elko, we've got other rodeos and events going on. So we're going to be advertising all of those as Ag Month, really trying to bring that education piece back. It is lacking. We know it is lacking. Clark County does a great job in Logandale with their fair, but the Nevada State Fair has been absent for quite some time. A lot of interest in getting those kids back in there from these cities to see what we do. So we will be reaching out, obviously, and we'll have our 4-H and FFA kids there with their animals to show this is what we do. We'd like to have, ewes and lambs, and we'd like to have some sows and piglets as well, just to show kids actually what they do. Biosecurity is going to be a major concern, so that's going to be Dr. Rolfe's deal. And we'll figure out how to make sure we don't bring everybody into Reno and get something we don't need there. Deputy Director Ferris and I did present to the Washoe County Board of County Commissioners at the end of last month on the Virginia range horses. There was a lot of misinformation out there about what we're doing and what those horses are and how they got there and our fencing project. So we were invited by the Board of County Commissioners to present to them. We did. Just laid it out statutorily, how this agency is responsible for those horses, what we're doing for that fencing, how we partnered with the city of Reno, and we're waiting for them to complete a piece of their fencing, and that will tie in everything from I-80 to Jumbo to really armor South Reno, so we don't have those horses on Veterans Parkway and not as many crashes is what we're after. It's not the only place that's dry in the east, it's dry over there too. We're watching that range to see what it's going to look like with 4,000 horses on it. And we will continue to do the best we can with the zero resources that are allocated to that. We've robbed Peter to pay Paul to run that program. And Chad is doing a great job with that. So I want to thank him for continuing to keep his head down, not get sniped all the time over that stuff. You can see our comments on here that we've done. These are not all inclusive. Debbie, you bring up solar and renewable projects. We comment extensively on those across the state. So I encourage you all to subscribe to the state clearinghouse, and you'll see when those, you can get an email notification anytime a project comes out for NEPA. These that are on public lands have to go through NEPA. I will tell you that we adamantly defend agriculture in all of these renewable projects. And while there is a push, and we know that there's a big push nationwide to still see some of these, they have to be in the right place. We cannot allow our range operations to go out of business for solar panels. There are places where we need solar and we need wind, and they would make sense. And I will just use the example of Diamond Valley in the critical management area. Those people, as they retire those water rights, it's private property. They are looking to put those there. They have the interconnect, they have the connectivity to wheel that power out of there. We need to be putting it there instead of in an adjacent valley and taking out a bunch of white sage. So we are defending that. We work a lot with proponents of these projects, and we are in constant communications with our permittees on what it's going to look like if a project does come in, what some of that mitigation may look like, or there's times we just say, no, we can't support this. And the governor's office has been very supportive of us in that. And we are pushing back significantly on some of these public land projects as far as the solar and renewables go. We did, as we notified you guys in June, 466, Alex talked about that bill. We did bring on 12 new employees that had been Department of Health and Human Services. Those are in Chad's shop. He can talk some more about that during his update. They're all in within our system now. We have one here. We've got one in Pahrump, one in Ely, one in Winnemucca, the balance in Sparks. Working at that office down there. That's food safety. That's pretty much what they do. The hemp component that we had talked about, there will be a working group that we will be participating actively in. I think Ray is tired of me asking questions about hemp, but we've got to line a lot of things up from the USDA to us. I mean, when the USDA says this is it, and at the edge of the field, if it's over 0.03, we have to do something with it. Now we have all these companies that want to take these hemp products, we want to put them into food, or we want to put them into lotions or other cosmetics, or we want to put them into beverages. So what is that going to look like? We will see legislation next session. We know that will try to address some of this. Our goal is to try to get ahead of that. So we're working with the Cannabis Compliance Board on that. We also know there are a lot of illicit products and illegal products that are currently out there that claim to have hemp, and they are actually able to concentrate this enough that they're intoxicated. So when you have a jawbreaker or a gummy bear at a grocery store that kids may be able to purchase that have hemp in them, they could be at concentrations that are greater than some of our medicinal and recreational marijuana. So we are stepping up our enforcement on that front. That is something that we did inherit with 466. And so we did inherit a set of regulations that came with them. We are looking at making modifications to those regulations. Those are not the ones next on the agenda, but we are looking to make modifications to those as well. And what that will look like to really try to start some meaningful enforcement on that. Just another couple of key things. I did travel to Washington, D.C. I think that was last month, might have been the month before. Things are really gone a lot. I will tell you, but we met with the FDA, with the commissioner, Dr. Bakari, and had an interesting conversation with him. He is extremely intelligent individual and a doctor, human doctor. We just want to make sure he understands as they start these moves towards making America healthy again, what's that look like for agriculture, truly? And the other big part of that conversation, the Center for Veterinary Medicine is housed at the FDA. We have to work with them and the USDA. There was some talk they wanted to close that. And so that would slow down the pipeline for new antibiotics. It would slow down what we're trying to do with our bees and the antibiotics we need there. So I was very vocal on behalf of the state of Nevada and the National Association of State Departments of Agriculture. We have to keep that, and we need a permanent director at CBM so we can keep these products rolling and we can keep our livestock, our bees, and the public all healthy. I think you got it. We have not seen, they pulled back a little bit on their plans to close that down, so I'm happy about that. One other piece of notice, did go to Legislative Commission last week before, and got an extension on what we call the trick testing regs, but it's really everything in 571. As you guys remember, we've had many workshops on that. I did the last tune-up on those as the acting state vet or interim state vet or whatever I was doing at the time. Those regulations have to be adopted by me as the state quarantine officer. I was not comfortable presenting them to myself. And so now that Dr. Gall is on board, he has gone through them. We've had a lot of conversations on them. So he will be presenting those to me for acceptance. And then we will move forward on that once I accept those. And that will be, we'll move on that very quickly once he gets back from leave. But again, that was just the wrong look for me to present those regulations to myself. You can't be the judge, jury, and executioner all at the same time. You can, it just doesn't work very long. And then a few more things of note. Dr. Shank, you mentioned Jeff Knight and Dr. Forbes. You actually mentioned Dr. Forbes. Both of them retired. They had a combined 60 years of state service. And so those leave two very big holes for us to fill. We have filled the state entomology position with Bryant McDowell. He came to us from Texas A&M. Won't worry about that. We know shouldn't hire Maggie, but we did. And I give him a hard time about that. So he's there and Sparks doing a great job. And then I'll let Chad update us on our veterinary diagnostician. We did open that search as well. And then I want to welcome Bob Rager at the end of the table. Will Dawson's final day was Friday. He retired again. We pulled him out of retirement to come help us for a couple of years, and he said he wanted to go back into retirement. And so we were fortunate enough that Mr. Rager fell into our laps, and we chased him aggressively and got him to agree to come over. He may be having second thoughts after last night. I don't know. We'll see. But very fortunate to have him. He has a ton of experience, and when they get into their update, I'll let him introduce himself and a little bit more about himself. But very happy to have him here as well. So now just a few things that weren't on there. You guys are all aware we had a cyber attack, and it was big. I think that's an understatement to say it was big. So I was actually supposed to be on a trade mission to Senegal last week. And with what we had going on, again, I didn't feel it was appropriate to leave this agency or the state and be 8 hours time zone difference away while we were trying to rebuild. Our website just came up this morning. It has been down since the beginning of that. There are still links on there that are not active. We know that. This afternoon, we hope to get control to more of that. And I won't get into the tech side of that on what that means. But I will say that when that hit on that Monday morning, Jake Dolly and his crew were probably the best in the state. And we went into that office on Monday. They sent everybody home on admin leave. Leadership went in, and it looked like a war room in there with what Jake had going on that whiteboard. I have no idea what those words mean. I don't know what those acronyms mean, but this is everything that's down. This is what we have to operate. And they worked through that first 24 hours pretty much nonstop. And I don't know if he's listening or any of his team, but you guys need to know that we have probably the gold standard IT team in the state of Nevada. And they kept this agency running literally on paper and bubble gum and duct tape through this entire thing. We did not see a disruption in services. Now, Kathy obviously is going to be struggling as we come out the backside of this and getting invoicing done and getting some of that paperwork caught up. We kept doing our brand inspections. Ray's inspectors were out in the field. Bill's guys were out doing what they need to do on the petroleum side and make sure our scales were done. We've got a really good team here at Ag, and you guys should be proud of them. I'm awfully proud of what we did. It was not fun. And to say the least, it's still not fun. We still have a lot of things that we need to come back online. Hopefully we'll continue to see those over the course of the week. But if you have anything or you're getting complaints from those you represent, send them to us. And Jake has been 110% supportive on getting us back through that. But we'll just continue to work through it. We are thankful that the website came back up. We were afraid it was not going to come back, and we were going to have to rebuild it completely. It looks like it is operational, probably as much as it ever was. I hate to say it, but we will. We're back in business. Dr. Shank, you mentioned veterinary medicine, and that's something dear to my heart. We are actually going to go down and talk to Texas Tech University and look at how they do their recruitment and enrollment and interview processes down there. Again, for those kids that want to go to Utah State, and if we want to get some at the new private school down south as well. But there is also now a reinvigorated talk about why Nevada doesn't have a small vet school of its own. I am intimately involved in those conversations, and we want to make sure we get the right students in those. Texas Tech has done a wonderful job of getting the right kids in there. They might have 1,700 applicants. One of my best friends is actually on that admission committee for them, and he meets with those individuals no less than 5 times before they offer them a seat, one-on-one, to know that they're the right kids. It's 4-H kids, it's FFA kids, it's kids coming from whether it's East New Mexico, West Texas, that they know they're going to go back and they're going to practice there. So that's a model that we want to really push on. President Sandoval is 110% behind us on this, and he knows that we've got to address this veterinary shortage across Nevada. And I'm pleasantly surprised with how aggressive he wants us to be on this. So that is good. I talked about the vet shortage, I think, already, Dr. Shank, on your deal, renewables. Varden, the Ely district is the only district that's put out a drought letter so far. And that's a lot of the winter range for a lot of guys from Lincoln County to Nye County into White Pine County. So we are working with that Ely district, but we can't make it rain as much as we would like to make it rain in the right spots. So we are monitoring that very closely and what that's going to look like. And Jim, you will be able to sell your hay. I promise you that. I don't know if you're going to get what you want for it, but you'll be able to sell it.
Put some ads in the Lincoln County Record.
So it does look like it's going to be a tough year. We do worry about the conception rates on these ewes. Those dry winters that we've talked about, you see that they don't get as many lambs in the spring. And it looks like we're probably going to be there again, that those prices are down. Obviously, these range cows, they do better on range, semi-range, right? Than they do in the haystacks, but that's where we're at. New World screwworm. There was a human case in Maryland that was brought in on a human that traveled from an area that had New World screwworm. You guys, this is a bad bug. Obviously, it eats living flesh, not dead flesh. Dr. Rolfe has sent stuff out to all veterinarians on what to look for. Obviously, we don't want everybody to send every larva, every maggot to us for identification, because that becomes very costly. Most of them are truly just your standard run-of-the-mill larva or maggot. He has a 3-tier plan that he has created that I have accepted, and that's for when it's identified in the United States, tier 1. Number 2, identified in adjacent state. Number 3, when it's identified here in Nevada. What do? We have met with our partners at the CDC and Department of Health and Health and Human Services in Nevada. We had a meeting last week with them on what that is going to look like and how we're going to coordinate with human physicians on that. So we're in a good spot. One thing to keep in mind, that thing will not survive under 40 degrees. So we're not worried about it really getting a foothold here, especially in northern Nevada, because we will see temperatures under 40 degrees, and that insect cannot live at under 40 degrees. So that's why, we will see it in our southern states. We could see it in the southern part of Nevada if it gets in, but we do have a plan in place. And again, we are working with the FDA and USDA on getting ivermectin labeled for that. Ivermectin is not labeled for New World screwworm because it wasn't here the last time we had it. So it is very effective, and we are working with that. And I will rest there. If you guys have any questions or anything from me.
So does it present itself the same way as the old screwworms that we dealt with in the 60s and 70s?
Yeah, so we eradicated this from the United States in 1966. And then we had one outbreak in the Keys, some deer in the Keys in 2012. I think that was the date. It's exactly the same, manifests the same. So it's good hygiene, it's good biosecurity. If you're dehorning or you're castrating, that's when you really worry about it. Newborn calves, if it's warm and we have it here, they can actually infect through the umbilicus and they will eat those calves alive from the inside out. They can kill a calf in 24 hours.
Even brands.
Yes.
As the brand feels, they'll lay their eggs
In the brands, they'll get into anything alive.
Pull right in.
So it's a bad bug. We are working with USDA and Secretary Rollins. When more air base does come on, they will have that sterile fly facility up and running in 26. And then that will give us broad coverage across northern Mexico and southern United States. And that is the answer. We've got to put those sterile flies out, drive this back down south of the gap, get it south of Panama again. And that's the goal. It was concerning that it made such a jump. You know, we made a detection in Mexico that was 400 miles north of where we knew it was. And that raised a lot of concerns. Close the border again. We got to keep it closed until we can make sure we get that thing pushed back down there where it needs to be. Other questions?
So ivermectin, does it actually kill larva or does it, how does it?
Yes, it will kill the larva. But again, it wasn't labeled. So it's extra label use, which not a problem. We can still do extra label use on Dr. Schenk. So but we would really like to have it labeled.
We'll use it.
That's right. And it'll be labeled. They'll work through that.
Other questions?
So that's actually brought in by a fly, right?
Yeah, well, it can come in on a human or on an animal. So if you're infected and you have it and you have the larva on you, then you bring it into the country and then they can hatch. And that was one of the problems. So I'm gonna go down a little bit of a rabbit trail here, but the case in Maryland, they weren't 100% sure how they disposed of that tissue and those larvae. And so USDA ended up putting a zone completely around that hospital where that individual was. And they did sampling to make sure we didn't end up with any flies that were actually in the country. So it's, when you have it, you have to dispose of that carefully. And they didn't know where for sure that had gone, but they ended up snuffing it out.
But that larva,
It'll hatch.
actually hatches into a particular fly, some
Yes.
kind of fly.
Yes. It hatches into a fly.
So if it's eating an animal from inside out, how does the larva become external?
So the wound, so figure let's just take a castration. They'll start eating it inside out. Well, that larva is actually dropping out as well as they are eating, and then they can hatch. They move. So well, I say inside out, they go right up that umbilicus. And so they eat as they go in, and they'll end up eating the liver and killing that calf. Or lamb. It's a bad bug. It looks very similar to a tapeworm in a jackrabbit. Don't ask me how I know, because I may or may not have sent one of those in one time in private practice. We thought we had New World screw worm. We had Jeff Knight nervous about it. So we sent it to the VSL. They're a bigger larva.
They're a little bigger. They're about that long and they're tapered on both ends. They look like a torpedo on your, and they're one end that have a dark head on either one end. When I was a kid, I learned to rope calves. I spent all summer roping calves.
Is ivermectin, will it kill it once the animal is infected, or is it just preventive?
Usually, it just depends on how quick you catch it. That's the problem. They get so aggressive in 24 hours that we're not able to catch it most of the time.
So it would be used preventively.
Yeah, exactly.
When you use ivermectin for lice control and stuff in the fall, that's a big deal.
Recommend using it in the spring as well. Because in the fall, we're going to get below 40 degrees.
Right.
In the spring, we're going to get above 40 degrees.
Yeah.
I see it.
So Basco math for you there.
Anything else for the director?
Thank you, JJ.
Appreciate it. Missing anything? Okay. Juliana? Okay. I don't know. These guys have to keep me in line. I don't know what comes and going. How are you doing? Oh, very good.
Okay, on to the concealed carry.
Now we're going to do a review of 466 real quick. This is going to be very brief. So
Okay,
this is a voluminous set of regulations that we inherited along with the team that is at Chad's for food safety. These regulations were housed Board of Health. They are coming to you guys because that team has came to us. We will start working on that this fall and through the winter on any changes we need to make. Juliana and I talked about, and we were going to print those out for you, but it would have been thousands of pages for everybody. And so there's a hyperlink here on the agenda you can click to. I encourage you guys, start looking at that now, in your spare time. If you have a little trouble sleeping, Pete, I guarantee you'll open one of them. 3 sentences in, you should be able to get you some siesta time. But we're going to be looking for you guys to bring us your concerns as we start through that workshop process. We will make those changes. Those will be adopted by you as a Board of Agriculture. That's where that authority lays. And so, Dr. Shank, I'm going to lean heavily on you and your medical background as we get into that. Because that there is a lot of stuff and there's a lot of very technical stuff in there, but that does belong here. As far as the cottage food portion of all of that, that will not take effect until 27. So we have some time on that. We want to get it right. And so we're not going to push you guys we're not going to do it half-assed and go back and do it again. That's the last thing we want to do. So take the time, go through 446, reach out to Chad, reach out to Teresa, reach out to Bobby, Doug, Juliana, and I with questions, comments, concerns early, because we want to get those addressed as we start through that workshop process. So that's your homework. I finally get to give somebody homework.
So question, homework or not homework, but workshops, you're gonna try to do a longer, like get this board together and actually go through.
Yes.
Instead of just our regular board meeting, there'll be some workshops where like 5-6 hours.
Yeah, so what there'll be the public workshop process as well. And then we will have special meetings, not just a regular board meeting, to go through these. That is what we're going to have to do. So what I'd like to do, Varda, get your guys' feedback first, send it to me. We'll look into that. We'll go to the public sitting. We'll have our workshops. We'll see what the public wants to do. We'll bring you guys back together. We'll have some workshops where the public will obviously be there. We'll talk through it. We'll make some proposed changes. We'll go back out to workshop again. And then when we're finally where we want to be in the comfortable product, there will be an actual adoption hearing before this board for you guys to adopt those regulations and to give us that authority. Right now, and Richard has confirmed with me that we're just continuing to operate under those. We can until such time as we make that yours. So we are operating under those regulations, under 446 now that the Board of Health adopted, but we're going to bring any changes we need to.
Okay, so I assume we need to include our buying partners on produce side, meat side, whatever. Is that?
So the produce side is still, we have our own set of regulations that will continue to operate under. Really take the time to look at this. This is more retail and food establishment settings.
Okay.
That's a whole new thing that we haven't had to deal with as a Board of Agriculture. That's why you really need to take the time to look at it. It's completely different. It's restaurant inspections. It's, meat inspections in some of our grocery stores. It's grocery store inspections. So this agency does not do Clark County or Washoe County, and we do not do the 4 counties that Central Nevada Health does. We do everything else in the state. Where you're sitting now, Elko County, we do that. White Pine County, we do it. So our inspectors at these regulations inspect the STAR. They inspect the grocery stores. They inspect our restaurants and eating as well. Lincoln County, we do those. We do Nye, a big portion of those as well. We do Story County. So
where do we go to get educated on it?
Juliana will email you guys a link to that again, so you guys can pull it up.
And it's also in your board meeting materials as a PDF.
Okay.
So
yeah, it's in there. So you already have
PDF.
what she said.
It's long. About choke, just looking at it.
That's why it's informational only. We're not asking for anything today. You guys bring some stuff back to us. We will have a very robust conversation on this at the December meeting. So you guys got about 90 days to get read up on it and some thoughts and concerns.
I mean, we have to come to Las Vegas. I
Yeah,
don't have to add anything instead of this hill.
You can find your way there, right?
I've been there, done that before.
Okay. I have a feeling you'll do it again too.
Well, I'm gonna be involved. I gotta start attending the meetings. It's been tough the last year, but yeah. I'm totally worthless virtually. I can guarantee you that.
We get that. That's why we try to scatter them around as much as we can to the meeting, so. So that's it on 446.
446 or 466?
446 is the chapter that the NAC is in.
Oh,
The
the-
bill was 466. That's why it's confusing.
Confused.
Yeah,
So you know.
NAC 446, Nevada Administrative Code 446. Will be ours in all its glory.
Okay. Administrative services. Now we talked about.
Now I can see Carrie. I'm gonna turn this over to Deputy Director.
All right, for the record, Doug Ferris. Just for a little background on this, we've had staff over the years reach out that have valid CCWs throughout the state and actually wanted to carry, whether they're at the office or whether they're in their vehicles. We support that. But I think historically, maybe there was some here and there, whether it was approved by a certain director or not, or wasn't approved. And so we wanted to make sure that we covered all our bases on this. They have a right to carry CCW with their license and everything, but we wanted to make sure we were protecting the department as well. So we worked with our Deputy Attorney General. We also worked with Department of Administration. Both of their agencies have procedures for concealed carry. So we've started working on that, but the policy itself has to be approved, presented and approved by the board. So that's why we wanted to bring this to you, and I'll just kind of read over it quick and then turn it over to you, Mr. Chair. So, for Nevada revised statute 561.105, the Board of Agriculture established a policy of the Nevada Department of Agriculture. This policy addresses the carrying of concealed weapons in the workplace by non-sworn personnel of the Nevada Department of Agriculture. The NDA recognizes that people holding a valid concealed firearm permit, CCW, generally have statutory authority to carry concealed firearm on the premises of the building in which they are employed. However, because workplace duties and responsibilities of the non-sworn personnel do not create the need to possess or use a firearm, employees are choosing to carry a concealed weapon, do so outside the course and scope of their employment, and do so in their own personal capacity only. Any display or unlawful use of a firearm by non-sworn employees in the course of their duties is strictly prohibited, and the NDA is not responsible for the firearm or any consequence arising from the presence of the firearm in the workplace. Rest of it is, she'll have to read through the other piece there, Mr. Chairman. Just kind of covers the policy itself, and if you have any questions or.
Any questions for Doug?
Good job.
So this is an action item.
Yeah. So for clarification, so you guys will take action today, whether approve or not approve this policy. Once you approve the policy, we will create a procedure of what that will look like for those individuals to request that they can carry. That will be internally. This is we need this as the first step. If you guys so choose to adopt this policy so we can move forward.
Okay. Very good. I will entertain a motion.
There's, one, Hank's got his hand up.
Okay, Hank, you had a question?
Yeah, with that, thank you for that, with that explanation from JJ about coming back with the actual, how it's gonna happen, I'll move to approve this policy.
Thank you.
I'll second it.
Further questions, discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We have a tally of everybody.
Unanimous.
Okay, motion carries. Thank you. Kathy, board update for your
Hey, Kathy Balkin, Administrator of Administrative Services for the
Before she
record.
begins, I do want to say one thing before Ms. Balkin begins. The GFO, Governor's Finance Office, sent us an email the end of last week, and she won't toot her own horn, so I'm going to toot it for her and her team. It has not always been this kind of a relationship with this agency and the Governor's Finance Office. And her team is doing quality work, and we have made a lot of changes over the last couple of years on what that looks like. And we at the Department of Ag never, I don't think, ever got accolades for how our fiscal side was running, and now we get those. And that is a direct reflection of her and her leadership and her team. So I just want to personally thank her in this sitting for what she has done. And it makes my life so much easier that I'm not getting chewed on by GFO and the governor's office. So thank you, Kathy, before you get started. Thank your team for it.
Congratulations. Thank you.
All right, I will go over some closing in a little bit here. So my first thing is we did have a successful closing for fiscal year 25. Some of the partnership activities that we have, Blaine's group, the NDA and Made in Nevada are recruiting for the 26th Nevada Craft Beverage Passport. Some industry and more marketing. Blaine has applied for several grants through USDA as well as the Small Business Administration. We've had several communications with Sierra and her team, as well as Rochelle and her educational team. She is creating some great materials, as you'll see soon. Sierra and her team with the language access plan. We are creating a language access plan as well as going through cultural competency training, which was developed by her team. She's also had 31 public records requests. And then with our IT, with everything they've done during our last couple of weeks, has been amazing. But before that, they also had the successful mitigation of our food safety team that came over from Human Services. In fiscal, we have been finalizing our financial reports with our federal grants at the end date of June 30th. We did just open FY 26 and we established authority to get us started in 26. So we'll start with an IFC meeting in October to get some of that authority in. And then I do want to show you a closing spreadsheet. All right, so with our budget accounts, these are all the budget accounts we had to close out by 5 p.m. on Friday. So we did have a successful closing all of those at about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And this just shows the revenue and expenditures that we had. So we closed every single one of our budget accounts in the positive. So
Without your computer systems.
Yeah, well, we had our computer systems back in order to do this, but they did some tweaking on reports that we had to pull. So we were able to pull all of these reports, but as you can see on this spreadsheet, you'll see like food and nutrition, their revenue versus expenditures, which gives us this realized funding number. So as you can see with animal, their revenue versus expenditures, plant health and compliance, measurement standards, administration, and then all of our non-executive accounts. And then majority of this funding that are fees and or grants collected will gain this authority to move into 26.
You know, some of you guys have been on this board for a long time and you know that this was not how it often was. And we ended up closing budgets in the negative. And we'd end up, having to send letters and justifying what we were doing and how we were doing it and how we were going to make this agency solvent. So again, this is a reflection of the team that we have here from all our administrators doing a really good job. Some of them actually squeak when they walk. Because he doesn't like to spend money, but that's okay. This is the end result. We are financially solvent as a department, and we're still meeting those needs. And I think we're doing a better job customer service wise than we have been. And again, it's these guys go do it. So you guys are
Leadership, sir.
they're the leaders. They do it. It's easy to steer this ship when you got a good crew.
Questions?
This is not in our package.
It is not.
If you'd like it, we can provide it.
I can provide.
Yeah, I mean, this looks like a format I might actually give.
So
Creepy, it's worn out.
yeah, again, and the reason why, so we closed this Friday, your
Friday.
guys' packets went out. So this was finalized on. So we'll get it over to you so you can see that. But when animal industry closes with that much positive, job check. I think it was Bob. Good job, Bobby.
I was good hire.
Say in the 9 and 10 years that have been here.
Yep.
It did not do that. So I don't know if it was our fault.
I think it was
ours
ours.
before. Once they got us out of animal industry, you know.
Animal industry makes money when we left.
Chad does say no a lot, so he does.
Other questions or comments? Very good. Thank you very much.
I do have one maybe
Oh,
on that.
Pete, yes.
Like see further up where you the Nevada Egg Plate. Can you
Yeah.
give us an update?
Yeah.
Something on that?
Sierra, I might kick it over to you. The Nevada Ag Plates, we going through a redesign on the Nevada Ag Plate. The old plate, the one, well, there's been two versions, but the most recent version, there's an entity on that plate that no longer exists. And we were looking to, bring a plate that actually more captures a lot of the changes we've done at the agency and moving forward. So those were adopted by DMV and they went to road test at state police. And Sierra, if you would like to give an update on where we're at with that.
Yeah, so we are still in the road testing portion of this. We're making some minor tweaks to the design so that the characters are more readable. We still don't have an official release date, but we are hoping closer to the end of the year is what things look like right now.
For Christmas, we're hoping you guys can put some new license plates under the tree. And that money again will go, part of that goes to us, part of that goes to the FFA. And I think what we've been showing people what that plate looks like, we've got a lot of positive feedback.
Where do you see that plate? Cause I was looking for it the other day.
We'll I'll pull one up and send it over to you. We'll show everybody here in a few. If we take a break, we can actually probably pull it up and show it online.
The last ag plate, this newest one, or the one that they had now, I see all the people that have them around the ranches, all the numbers fell off, and I never see numbers falling off. Not the number, it's indented, but paint on the number, peeled off. And is that the state's fault? Is that our fault? Is that
Not our fault. Go ahead, Doug. Whose fault is that?
It's not ours, it's business.
Yeah, and it does. We see the old, the 82 replica plates too, the blue plates. They were famous for it. The paint would fall off them. They're going to be manufactured, and hopefully they'll do a better job with that paint. But yeah, we know that's a problem, and you can get new ones.
I was gonna say, I think one of the nice things that if they have them like that, if somebody wants a new plate, they can keep their existing numbers if they want, or if it's personalized, but they can get the new version of license plate and then.
So you'll keep your number. If you have ag, whatever, and you want them, huh?
I don't think you can keep your number in my experience. I don't know. When they came out with the ag plates, well, first Andrea and Jim Barbie were big in starting that program. So we all got these 00, mine was 0052. I had that on my old ranch pickup, and then we quit licensing that ranch pickup. I did not realize if I didn't license that pickup within a year, they threw that plate away and will not give it back to me.
Somebody else may have it, but we can look and see if that number is still available, and you can put it on this plate.
And then the first ag plate was much more appealing. Seems to me like, because I've followed Andrea, follows it a lot. It don't seem like as many people wanted the ag plates after they got rid of the first original. It was a cooler plate or whatever you want.
But we're hoping we brought cool back. We didn't do a cartoon, we did silhouettes, but this is what's been adopted by us and DMV for our new ag flip.
Yeah, and I like that one better. The one to get rid of, but that first one was, I don't know, it was brighter.
It was.
It was a cool plate.
And Sierra can talk, that's part of this. We had to change the color scheme just a little bit, the hues on this, because the numbers didn't pop when the deputy pulls up behind you to get you a ticket. He wanted to be able to read that number. So that's why we had to change the colors, just kind of fade them just a little bit so that the black numbers really pop. But
Yeah, they would not give me that number back the other day. Now Raymond's car had, well, my
was
pickup ended
52?
up with Raymond's license plates. So I got her license plates and her new car has bad plates. She wanted ag plates.
Kathy, did you have anything else?
I do not.
Move on here. Okay, Chad, you're up, animal industry.
That's administrator, animal industry. I'm going to touch throughout this report on our retirements and our new hires. We do have quite a few of them, and they've been mentioned throughout this meeting. I'll start by talking about Deputy Administrator Will Dawson. He retired as of Friday. We were very lucky to get Bob in. I'll let him introduce himself real quick and give you guys a little background on his.
Thank you, Chad. Bob Rager. I have, on a professional level, I have approximately 35 years of construction, engineering, and administration experience, 13 in state service through a variety of agencies, NDOT, NDOW, NDEP, and Department of Administration. A mixture, like I said, a mixture of engineering, budgetary, that type of stuff. I'm a licensed civil engineer in Nevada and Washington, as well as a licensed water rights surveyor. Doesn't really align with my educational background. I have a Bachelor of Science degree in Environmental Resource Science, range and forestry. On a personal level, I grew up in rural Nevada, all the little small towns. Jim got a little precursor last night. Starting off in Austin, my folks were rural educators and spent time in Eureka, spent time in Gabs, spent time in Tonopah. Really looking forward. Something I should probably touch on was the warm welcome that I got yesterday. Being my first day, it was overwhelming. It was really cool, and I'm looking forward to get started and get to work. I have a meeting with Will so that we can make this a smooth transition. I just want to thank everybody for the warm welcome yesterday. It's going to make it really easy on me.
Okay, yeah, happy to have Bob here. So one thing I want to touch on, JJ mentioned Jake and IT team and how we were able to keep moving. Animal industries, we really were able to just keep moving. It didn't stop us much. We had some hiccups here and there, but we were able to just keep going. Inspections were made, not only with just brand inspections. I don't think our brand inspectors knew that there was an outage, but they kept moving. All of them did. Our labs were open. Even on that first Monday, our animal disease lab was open, so we were able to keep going. As you know, we have a new program. It's 12 new employees. It's been a learning curve for all of us. We are, it's going well. It really is. We're happy to have Daniel here in this office. He fits right in. And then all the Sparks and all the rural communities that they're there, it's going well. Like I said, it's a learning curve, but we are going to make it work. JJ mentioned the hemp portion. Our agricultural police officers will have a portion, or they're be very involved with that. There's going to be training involved. So, like I said, there's always going to be a learning curve there. One thing with these HHS employees, it's going to help out with the meat and poultry inspections. They've already jumped in. We have a handful of them doing the training for meat and poultry. So we'll be able to have more inspectors in that aspect of things. ADT rule, I'm gonna jump on this again. I know you guys I've talked to you guys about it since May of, so probably the June report last year of when this rule comes into effect. We were pretty successful last year after November 5th, getting everybody on board with RFID tags. A lot of the producers that Bangs vaccinated prior to November 5th, they feel they're behind. We're moving on getting them premise IDs, getting them tags. They feel I haven't let them know enough. I think I've tried to update everybody as much as I can. So I'm gonna stress it again. RFID tags, Bangs vaccinations. You need a premise ID, we will get the tags. Right now with the website down, it's up, but there's a link. They can apply for premise IDs and tags on the website. And right now we are dealing with not having that link. The girls up front here are very busy with just tag applications. So moving forward.
Stop. Let's just check.
Yeah.
Stop a second. So in my area, there's some year-round folks around. They're by tying the RFD tag to the bangs, the brucellosis, they just flat said, we're not gonna do it anymore. We're not gonna bangs vaccinate. It's pain in the butt. We're not gonna do it. It's costing us too much money.
Okay.
Somehow we gotta find a spot in the middle.
Now, are these heifers they're keeping or heifers they're selling?
Keeping.
So that option is there. If when they go to sell that animal, it's to slaughter on.
Slaughter.
So
And like my operation, I'm not gonna do it. I'll tell you why. I don't want my brand in somebody else's herd anyway. So I don't care if they go to slaughter. Even a 2-year-old heifer that does 3-year-old that doesn't breed back and I sell her, I want her to go to slaughter. So the whole object of the brucellosis program was to eradicate brucellosis. It wasn't to put RFD tags and identify cattle from cradle to the grave.
now I will say that this is not different. It's just a different tag. Application, getting the tags, we are still giving those tags to the veterinarians to vaccinate your calves. There's not a difference. You have to apply. Takes 5 extra minutes. And once we have the premise IDs for everybody, it's really fast. You apply, we get you the tags. We get your veterinarian the tags. So there's really not a difference at all.
And I will say that we hear this. We don't like the RFID tag. I will tell you right now, I go in the system. I can pull all your bank tags. I know all the information ready for your methods. There's no difference.
Why do we want to move ahead with RFD?
It's because it moves with the speed of commerce. I have read a lot of tags. That guy worked for me in private practice. We had this conversation last night at dinner. That human error is there. When I'm reading that tag and it's got manure and blood and everything else on
I'm
it,
trying to see a
I make a mistake.
tattoo.
When I make and a tattoo, and those tags are not tamper proof, the metal ones. You can take them out, you can straighten them, you can put them in another animal. RFID tags are tamper proof. They're in, you scan it, you're done. That number is that number. The human error, Ray and I had this conversation. You got to remove the human error side. If you ever cut that tag out, you can't put it in another one. They're tamper proof. It's gone. So there's not that fraud of she's a vaccinated cow because she's got that metal clip in her ear when you could take it out and put it in another cow. I'm a firm believer in the technology. I know it works, Barnum, and I've been doing it for 15 years at home.
So what?
And I like it. I like the RFID. And I do want to touch on eradicating brucellosis. We have brucellosis very, very close to us, very close. And in a herd in your county had to go through an extensive testing because of brucellosis while I was a state veterinarian. I highly recommend you continue to brucellosis vaccinate. If we get that, you think New World screwworm is expensive. You wait till we get brucellosis back.
When back in the late 60s, early 70s, we had
in the 80s.
We literally had to gather 600 head of range cows and have them all bled.
Yep.
And it stressed the cows and calves, and it was just a wreck all the way around. But when it comes to all of a sudden you're looking at having a veterinarian come out and they're charging you $30, $40 a head to have that done.
Well, I need to go on a private.
Right. No, and the cost should not go up because they're getting,
Greg, are you raping these guys at $30 a head?
they're getting this tag for free.
Or somewhere else?
I can't say free tags, but they are free to the veterinarian.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what your vet's charging, that's out of our control.
We don't have a vet.
Right.
Right, but what's a
Ray
vet,
retired,
what's a
and so we
vet
don't have a
charging
vet.
you today compared to what you're paying yesterday? For the red
Well,
tag?
before it was like $3 to $5 a head. Now it's like you gotta pay this guy $200, $300 just to drive there to do 10 head of heifers. Plus the cost of having each one of them done. So you're looking at $300, $400, $500 to have 10, 15 head of heifers done.
And you didn't have that same cost before with them?
Because the veterinarian was right there. He come and did it for $5 a head. He lived right there in the valley. Or right there in the county. He was.
Right, but so the veterinarian retired and because you don't have a vet in the area? I'm not under,
Yeah,
I'm just trying to understand. I'm not criticizing. I'm trying
Part of
to.
it's that, yeah.
And I think I'm kind of in the same path with Pete. I think as far as there's no price difference, whether they were putting in metal tags or RFIDs, that's right. It's the same cost for the
It's
service.
the same cost. But when you mandate a veterinarian to do it or somebody that,
It was
mandated before.
okay,
The metal
that's what I'm saying. It was mandated before, but we don't have a veterinarian anymore. And so you got a veterinarian driving 3 hours, 4 hours to do it.
We are also giving the veterinarians that work at sale barns, we are giving them tags. So all your calves that go to the sale barn, those tags are free to get bangs vaccinated to be sold within the state or if they leave.
But if I want to save my replacement heifers, I still have to pay a
You
veterinarian.
have to pay the veterinarian to do it, which you also did for metal tags. It is unfortunate. And we worked really hard to get these tags. We purchased some of these tags through grants and everything else to help the producers because you're talking a price increase with the free tags. That's a $4 to $5 another increase if you're purchasing those tags. Because if the vet has to buy orange tags to put in the producers, it will be $5.
Yeah.
Additional. So we do work really hard. We take it, that's why we're conservative with our tags. We're trying not to give out more than what a producer needs for that exact case because we don't want to run out of tags. They're in high demand and short supply. So,
Just a heads up, it's just an issue.
one thing though, I know you're veterinarians, but if you call or the links on the website, call these girls at the front desk. They are working very hard at getting everybody their tags. It's taken a lot of time, but they take it serious and we're trying to do the best we can to get them throughout the state.
Let's go back to that first comment we had on veterinary shortage. We've designated Lincoln County. We need the USDA to accept it. So we try to get a vet. We know you guys have a vet shortage there. But that's not, we don't regulate
That's not your
veterinarians. That's not our, we're trying to help get one in there, but that's
In fact,
not our deal.
I'm not sure you'd want to have government control that. It's less of it's capitalism should be there anyway.
But just not to misconceive the board, it's sounding like to me, it's a veterinarian issue, not the RFID tag.
Yes, correct.
Okay, but
You're
so,
correct.
but what, if I was a layperson listening to you right now, I would think that it's 110% fault of the RFD tag.
No, that's
Okay,
not,
but
that's not.
That's,
Oh,
I got cows. I live the same life you're living. That's why I'm standing here putting myself in the position of anybody that's out there watching that's knows nothing. It's sounding like it's an
yeah, I
RFD tag
apologize if
issue.
it come out that way.
Well,
That's not what it
that's
was
the way I'm
intended.
interpreting it, and I know the difference.
Yeah.
But so it's a veterinary issue. It's not because I was concerned when I first started hearing about it and people didn't like it and this and that, and then it started happening. My vet's coming next week. I presume I'm going to pay the same, or if there's a higher rate than last year, with the inflation or with the whatever problem it is. But it's not going to cost me anything more than the inflation or something else. The RFD tag is not going to be a driving factor of my cost of banks vaccinating.
The vet might raise their price.
15 years
or-
ago, I started doing mine. I paid for it myself. I bought the tags myself
But that's,
because I thought it was a good program.
that looked just, your statement was scaring me that
So
it's
let's
gonna
clarify that.
in a position where a lot more people are gonna go against it. And I know the state of Nevada, I'm born and raised here too, and we don't want banks. I mean, it's been an issue before. We don't want it. We don't need it. There, a lot of government programs are not what we like, but some of the programs are put in for a reason. And banks was one of them.
Yeah, I remember when they first come out with that program, the brand inspectors were actually were given the books and the tags and come out and work with the rancher. Because there wasn't enough veterinarian. Go.
No, I appreciate that, you guys, because this is an important topic and I'm glad we had this discussion. Like I said, the tags are there and keep moving forward. I'll jump into some programs. Some key losses we had on brand inspectors. We lost Jerry Chapin this summer, who's brand inspector for 47 years. It's going to be a tough replacement, but we're working on it. Also, we had another inspector retired. He'd been an inspector for a long time, Dennis B. Roth up in Mountain City. So replacing those guys is going to be hard to do, but we're working at it. APOs are our supervisor for the agricultural police officers. He is moving on. We will have a new supervisor starting Monday. So we're excited about that. We wish Ian Knight all the luck in his new adventure. Brand Inspector 2s, we are looking at hiring a new one in the Reno, Fallon, Carson City area. So interviews last week, and we will hopefully have a decision shortly. Park, this is probably the first meeting I've had that we've been fully staffed. Happy to have them all working. They're doing a good job, so fully staffed there. Vet medicine, Dr. Forbes has retired as of Friday. We're gonna miss him. He was 21 years with the NDA, so we wish him luck also. We interviewed last week, pending one more interview this week, potentially. So hopefully we'll have a decision and have that position filled. It's a key position that we need to have filled. I'm not gonna talk about Trick all that much. I've updated you guys on Trick. It's been a slow summer. Everybody's turned out, so not a lot of testing done. We're ramping up for this fall and we'll see how the testing goes. We have almost all of the quarantine hold orders off. There was a few added early or late spring, early summer. We'll get them tested and hopefully we watch this curve drop and we can keep it dropped. Hopefully this year is a lot better than last year. That's all I have for right now. If you guys have any other questions that I've missed on anything, please feel free.
Questions for Chad? Comments?
All right, thank you guys.
Yep, thank you. Let's take a 10-minute break or so. We'll be back at 11.
Okay. In Austin, Nevada. Yeah, we were living in Austin when I was born. Let's do it. I started his career there. Yeah. Yeah, you don't believe it. I know names. Nope, we're good. Super little Mastretti's were babysitting me and Ramus for this. Okay, sorry. Nope, where you going? Good, thanks. Yeah. Yeah, it always brings back fond memories, and I was pretty little.
I know, look, I'm just
John,
thinking-
Julianne.
Sorry about that. I don't know why I did that. It's-
You gotta have nice things.
Thought I was
I'm gonna have to separate you two.
At least he didn't call me out in front of everybody or anything.
It's just bad.
Yeah, it just doesn't bring, yeah.
I told her last week, can you know her off? She gets picked on like everybody else.
Okay, you're good. This did not help you at all, did it?
It's fine. That'll work. That's fine. It'll be just start.
Over here. So I was gonna say, I love this thing.
Right, so my staff, you plug in a laptop.
Look at you, problem solver. No one could have moments around those.
Okay, are we all ready to go? Okay, we're back in session. Division of Food and Nutrition.
Morning, Patricia Hopley for the record, Division Administrator, of Food and Nutrition. Cyber attack number one. So the good news is that with our food deliveries, we did not miss any food deliveries for our food distribution programs. Our warehouse workers worked and got all of our routes done. So that's the good news. The bad news is that our school nutrition system, it's called the Child Nutrition Program System. It does all of our applications. It's where our school food authorities enter their meal counts for claims payment. And it also does our administrative reviews, which is our compliance reviews. That is a state-hosted application and it is down. It is still down. We don't know when it's going to come back up. It's probably a low priority compared to other systems. We're hoping to have some news, working closely with Jake as he works with Enterprise IT Services in a couple of weeks to see what's going to happen. We're hoping that we don't lose any data. We're also in the process of kind of researching some other systems that would be from a vendor that we could potentially purchase. We're starting to have those conversations. So we're kind of in a wait to see. We've been working closely with our Western Region Office of USDA. We've also worked with Kathy's group in fiscal. We put a manual process together for all those claims to be submitted because they are submitted twice a month. That's how they're paid. And we've gotten approval for a manual process that we're using to get those claims paid so that all of our school food authorities still have the opportunity for that. And just for regulation standpoint, they have 60 days to enter a claim. And then the state agency, we have 45 days under federal regulations to pay it. So we are paying attention to those. We're not planning on missing those. Kathy's group has been really helpful. And then moving on, our ARPA funding, we've started working closely with Kathy and her group as well as the governor's finance office, their ARPA team on tracking our awards and making sure that we get those spent down. Home Feeds Nevada, we were still working on the work program to get that 800,000 general fund pulled over. And then of course the cyber attack happened. So we're kind of still in a wait and see with that. We have not received that funding yet. We have an update in my report on the new warehouse that's going on. Other than that, everything you can read is in the report. Does anybody have any questions?
Questions for Patricia? Okay, thank you. Measurement standards. Dr. Bill.
Good morning. Let me just get myself set here. All right. I don't think I can be quite as quick as Patricia, but I will try. For the record, my name is Bill Strajewski, and I am the Administrator of Measurement Standards. In terms of the statewide computer system situation, As Director Goycochea said, Measurement Standards has been able to maintain our customer service during the situation. Our inspectors were able to continue working in the field. They're able to get their work completed and generate certificates after inspections. I'd also like to add my voice to the choir of those praising Kathy's IT team, their hard work and for their success in keeping us rolling. We have an internal database that we use for our weights and measures functions. That was down for a couple of days, but since then we've been in good shape. Our petroleum technology program uses a database and software that's cloud-based. It's hosted by the software maker, and so it has been working throughout as well. To piggyback on what Mackenzie had said during her update, we are indeed looking forward to hosting the upcoming ECAN board meeting in Sparks and working with the group. Mackenzie, we really appreciate that we have had a really positive, long-standing relationship with the industry. We cherish that, and we're going to continue to do our part to make sure that that relationship continues. On the subject of AB 29, we've been working with Sierra to push out information about the changes, and it was good to hear that ECAN is doing some of that on the road as well. And of course, we'll be working with them as needed. Our scheduled livestock inspections for out of the Sparks office and the Elko office have all been completed. We have a few rechecks ongoing, as they are requested by the ranches. Inspections of the ranches, they're reachable from our Las Vegas office. Will begin in the next couple of weeks, and those should continue into early October. This year, we were fortunate to have both agreeable weather coming out of the winter and a minimum of equipment issues. Also, our continued communication efforts appear to have been very successful in having everyone prepared and on the same page in anticipation of their inspections. And lastly, staffing wasn't an issue, and our crews were professional and enthusiastic, and a real part of the success of that work. I'd just like to mention really quickly that the governor's office had reached out to us to provide some petroleum data for the state to help them plan for proactively for shortages and emergencies, and we are in the process of getting that data to them. And lastly, just a word that we are fortunate. We are fully staffed as of September 2nd. Both of our most recent hires, which I had mentioned as going to be starting at the time of submitting my board report, both of them have been enthusiastic. They're both quick learners, and having a full house allows us to cover the entirety of the state and take care of all the devices that we license. And that number is not decreasing. It is increasing all the time. So we're thankful for that, and we hope to have them stay on with us for a long time. That is the end of my report, and I'd be happy to answer any questions for you. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. Any questions, Dr. Striczynski? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Plant health and compliance.
Right. So for the record, the division held a workshop regarding R12723 on September 3rd to gain public feedback for our applicator training regulation. This enables employees of licensed pest control businesses to apply pesticides for up to 90 days while they study to pass the exams and become fully licensed. Part of the regulation includes essential training information for worker safety as well as applications to ensure that they're safe and effective during their applications. We did receive questions from industry from the Nevada Pest Management Association, as well as from pest control businesses. We're in communication with them regarding their questions and comments. The Legislative Commission adopted changes to NAC 586 regarding fee increases for pesticide manufacturers for registration fees. These fees are paid for each pesticide product sold in Nevada. It's a one-time fee each year manufacturers pay. So that's been adopted. We'll start to see the implications of that fee increase during our January registration period, by December 31st each year. Additionally, the division's planning a messaging campaign to educate beekeepers in our quarantine zone in southern Nevada regarding the need for permits for movement of feral bee colonies. We will have a messaging campaign for the next few months and plan to implement warnings and penalties for unpermitted fees in 2026. These permits are necessary in order to ensure the safe removal of bee colonies. Because the quarantine zone is established for Africanized bees, which pose a larger risk to the public than our managed honeybee colonies. We'd like to welcome Brian McDowell as our state entomologist. He is from Texas. He's got extensive outreach background working with industry and with the public in an educational manner. He has quite a lot of urban pest management experience, and he is a generalist. He's not focused on the specific set of insects. So he's got broad knowledge and is coming on board. His responsibilities include providing expertise related to quarantines of invasive pests, providing identification services to industry, engaging in training and outreach programs, and conducting surveys to identify and control invasive species. In our pathology program, we've finished garlic and onion field inspections for the 2025 growing season. Over 7,000 acres of garlic and onion fields were inspected for white rot. This is the first year since 2021 that we've not detected white rot in any inspected fields. Shipping point inspections for onions will start this month. We've seen a slight decrease in state fiscal year 2025 for onion exports and compared to previous years. This does seem to be cyclical. No, not an alarming trend. It's cyclical, goes down and up. It's been a few-year cycle, it seems. Our pest control division, we've had a couple of promotions since last board meeting. Vance Lum and Rick Cronkite lead our licensing and enforcement teams. This covers all pest control conducted in the state. We have a worker protection standard program that regulates farms, provides education for safety of farm workers, as well as for the urban pest management community and licensed pest control companies. They're evaluating our data and statistics and record keeping in related to our enforcement actions, and so we can provide more robust reporting and inform future enforcement and outreach efforts related to what we find in inspections. As David brought up earlier, we are in our noxious weeds program conducting early detection and rapid response effort in Washoe Valley. We identified ventonata in Washoe Valley on a number of properties. This weed is able to rapidly spread. It is competitive enough that it can outcompete cheatgrass. It provides little to no forage value and can impact producers as well as our native natural lands. We've issued notice to control orders to all properties where it's been identified. We are conducting an outreach effort for the rest of the properties in the valley and working to provide funding for the purchase of herbicides and managing this. Any of the enforcement actions we do, whenever possible, we want to provide support and funding to the landowners. So that's part of this effort. We plan on holding a community workshop in Washoe Valley to provide some education on the control of this. Luckily, Ventonata, unlike many other noxious weed species, the seeds are only viable for 2 to 3 years. So if we can head this off early, get robust surveys and identify everywhere it is, with community-wide effort, we can control this species. NDOT continues to treat Scotch thistle along the I-80 corridor. NDA and NDOT are planning a fall wrap-up meeting to evaluate this year's efforts, see where control has been effective, what NDOT was able to accomplish, and make plans for next year. You may see more communication from our noxious weeds program. We've increased regulatory and enforcement efforts this season. We've identified priority areas to engage with landowners and local partners in these areas to target specific weed species. Most of these efforts need a collaboration between landowners, state and federal lands in order to control these. If you eradicate from an area, don't provide sufficient area-wide control, will reinfest. Then our sagebrush ecosystem council representative is working with private landowners that were subject to extensive fire damage in June and August. NDA and NDF representatives are working with NRCS and other state and federal agencies and private landowners to create a post-fire rehabilitation plan. Work will most likely occur in early 2026. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Questions for Ray?
The state ag nursery is in Washoe Valley there. And I'm just concerned about the ability for these grasses to possibly get rooted into some of the containers and be shipped out and have somebody not realize what it is, have it moved across several counties. And is that a found issue that I'm looking at, or am I just overly excited?
With Ventonata, it's very similar to cheatgrass in its life cycle, its appearance, up until the seed formation stage and really late into blooming, it looks just like cheatgrass. So if they're managing their weeds and they're easily pulled from containers prior to dropping seeds, it shouldn't be an extensive vector for spread.
Okay, thank you.
And I'll just add, David, I think our bigger concern there is the yellow star thistle. I think we're going to get ahead of that Ventonata pretty quick, but that yellow star thistle, it's given us all a little bit of pause. And we want to make sure we hit that one very, very aggressively. And I think we have a plan on both of them, but that thistle's concerning me.
Ray, I talked with Megan last night. Maybe she's talked to you, but I have a landowner in Carson Valley who would like to see chicory listed as a noxious weed. So I don't know the process or anything, but if I can tell him that's being looked into.
Yeah, we can. We'll be evaluating this winter our noxious weeds list, and we can include that in the discussion to potentially update. The noxious weeds lists are listed in an AC, so there is a process to updating those. In that process, we can add new weeds. We can also recategorize the weeds that we have. There's A, B, and C categories for noxious weeds based on the extent of the spread and the risk to the agriculture industry.
Do you know how widespread chicory may be, or how?
I do not, but I can research that for you.
Okay, thank you. Other questions?
Is daughter considered a noxious breed?
You have the list handy.
I do not.
I have seen a lot more daughter this year.
I don't think it's on the noxious weed list.
In Crouch, Debbie, or in,
Increases your tonnage when you're selling that for the.
well, we have ways of increasing tonnage.
So is Debbie. And it'll all be the snowball.
Okay. Okay, on to public comment.
Chairman, I don't have public comment, but I realized that I can, and I could go back real quick. I did not bring up sage grouse, greater sage grouse plans. RMPA, we've been working very aggressively on that with our sister agencies, DCNR, NDOW, Division of Minerals as well. So there was a document released last week, a significant changes document to the proposed resource management plan amendments. We're very comfortable with that now as a state. We have got a lot of good things done in there and really focused back on the Nevada state plan, which is where it needed to be. And so this administration has been very, very supportive of that. And so we will be providing comments along those lines, and you can most likely expect a ROD to be signed by the end of the calendar year. That pretty much will put this sage grouse thing to bed until we get another lawsuit and we do it again. But this one is a lot closer to being the actual state plan this time. So they've been very, very responsive. I'm a member of the Western Governors Task Force on that, and we have 5 Western states that are lockstep on what we need to have done this time. And this made a huge difference. I forgot to mention that. I apologize.
Okay, thank you. Any questions on that? Okay, very good. Now we'll try public comment. Do we have any public comment?
We have one in Sparks.
I'll probably get thrown out. Jim DeChambeau, Mason Valley. Touching on somewhat that Debbie mentioned earlier about solar projects. There are 23 to 30,000 acres of solar panels that have been approved in Lyon County, a lot of which is on farm ground that is in production. Not to mention almost 6,000 acres in Mineral County that's on, as JJ mentioned, prime range ground and deer and wildlife ground. And I just wonder if the board and the department have a policy on taking farm ground out of production for non-farm uses. The country of France passed a law making it illegal to take farm ground out of production for solar panels, which I'd like to see the United States do, or at least Nevada. As we all know, 1 to 2% of us, of you people, feed the other 98% of us. And once we lose farm ground, we don't get it back. And we seem to lose more every year to solar panels, non-agricultural uses, industry. It seems like we're putting ourselves out of work. And other than that, I think everybody's doing a good job. And now if I get shot, I'll leave.
Thank you, Jim. Other public comment?
No other comments in Sparks.
What was it?
No more sparks. I don't see anybody here. Nobody there, Brooke? Just you?
It's me, nobody here.
Okay.
Okay, very good. Final roll call. We still have everybody here.
Looks like it. Still there.
Sounds good.
Look at that, Richard. You didn't even have to throw up a stop sign for me.
If there's nothing else, we will adjourn. We are adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.